10 rebounds, 0 turnovers. Never been done in the playoffs. Against the Knicks team known for defense with a legendary defensive coach. I said it yesterday. Brunson may be the better pure closer, but Haliburton's a starter, the best middle reliever, and a closer. It's the entire package. And I don't really see this as a New York failure. It's another close game. I see it as the ascension of a rock star in this league. This was Tyrese Haliburton's magnus opus. The Pacers are now 11-3 in playoffs. They're 11-3. Their only 3 losses, otherwise they're 11-0. Their only 3 losses are game 3 losses when they lead 2-0. So they take their foot, like any pro athlete would, a little off the gas. That's it. Otherwise, they're 11-0. And the Pacers, the front office has done a great job to surround Haliburton with players that can run with him. And it's empowering. I mean, how good does Pascal Siakam look now? I mean, what's amazing about Haliburton, he doesn't even lead the Pacers in usage rate. That's insane. For 32 points and 15 assists. And again, no turnovers. With Brunson, the great closer, a lot of times Knick players are standing around watching him work his guy and get that great shot, and you can feel uninvolved. I mean, Haliburton had 32 last night. I don't remember that much scoring. I remember the pace. I remember the assists. Indy did what they do. They turned it into a track meet. And every game in which they've controlled pace, they've won. Not just against the Knicks, against Milwaukee, and against Cleveland, and now against the Knicks. I still like New York a lot. I think they need to tweak it. I'd go KD over Cat. But I love Indy. This is about Indy. Very rarely, if Haliburton is on the floor, do they even get bad half-court possessions. That's hard in the NBA. And that second half got a little bit sloppy. But they're a high-tempo, up and down, ball movement. Who would not want to play with Haliburton? Indy feels like one of those young tech companies that are like collaborative and empowering, and you can bring your dog to work, and people want to work there forever. That's what they feel like. I mean, the fact that even one NBA player suggested that Haliburton is overrated. I mean, again, look at Pascal Siakam, who's always been a good player. He looks like he should be first-team All-NBA. Look at Rick Carlisle, a forgotten coach. Now he looks like he's an innovator and one of the more creative offensive geniuses. And I've known Rick for years. He's always been an excellent coach and a great guy. But this is what Magic or Michael or Haliburton can do to a coach. He accentuates all your skills as a coach. The reality, too, with Indy here, New York may be better, but you could argue they've peaked. Indy's only getting better. They have a very friendly cap sheet. They have to figure out what to do with a good player, not great, Miles Turner. They're not quite sure what to do. But this is a young and improving and ascending roster that quickly and easily disposed of Milwaukee, favored Milwaukee, of favored Cleveland, and now of the Knicks. And here's Haliburton after.
Just trying to be aggressive, trying to respond. I felt like I let the team down in game 3, so it was important for me to come out here and just make plays. And, guys put me in position to make plays and trying to play my game. And, man, it's a big win for us.
Did Dad in the building have anything to do with that?
Hell yeah. Yeah. I'm glad Pop's in the building, man. Makes it that much more sweet.
Okay. It's so funny because I think we're watching in real time so many people not really watch the Indiana Pacers, not really watch and understand Haliburton's greatness, and you're just witnessing everyone playing catch up. It's actually pretty funny to watch, honestly. It really, really is. Because think about how everybody was like, I can't believe Jason Tatum's not playing in the Olympics. He's not playing, and what the heck is Steve Kerr doing? And yet, no one said that about Haliburton. No one's take was, I can't believe Haliburton needs to be there. Why is Haliburton not there? No one said that. And, this playoff run, nobody was really talking about the Indiana Pacers being this great, prolific team. Nobody. I mean, let's be clear here. You know, all the takes were around the Lakers, the Warriors, understanding those two teams because they obviously have the most popular players, so that's a little bit more understandable. But it was OKC, and then it was Ant and the Timberwolves. I mean, like, it was everyone but them. The Celtics, again, understanding the Celtics, they just won. The Nuggets, I mean, seriously, if you had to, like, rank all these teams minus maybe, like, Detroit or something, Pacers, way bottom. Way, way, way bottom. I mean, let's take a look. I mean, this was going into the playoffs. This was Nick Wright's, you know, title pie. 2% chance. 2% chance for the Indiana Pacers. I mean, obviously, you know, he's a big LeBron fan, so, you know, the Lakers 25 and Luka 25%, OKC 14%, Celtics 27%, Cleveland 10%, the Nuggets 5%, the Clippers 4%, the Warriors 3%, the Rockets 3%, the Bucks 3%, the Timberwolves 2%, the Pacers 2%. I don't know. And then again, going into the playoffs, this was his king of the hill, you know, whatever. Tatum, Brunson, Şengün, Haliburton, Jimmy has him at the bottom. I guess he has him on the hill at least, but at the bottom. And now we're talking about Haliburton being in the same conversation with Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. Like, it's just funny to see everyone play catch up right now. And then even going into the Eastern Conference Finals, having Haliburton below Brunson. And, of course, now the title pie going into the conference finals. 23% for the Knicks, 12% for the Pacers. Still below the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. I guess the Celtics, because I guess that the one conference finals ended, you know, or the other round ended before. So there was a little bit of a mismatch in the time of going into this a little bit here. But so, yeah. Pretty interesting. I mean, I'm watching that game, and I'm literally thinking, this is one of the greatest games I've ever watched. I'm literally feeling that way. I'm like, this is one of the best games I've ever seen. And what Haliburton is doing, this is one of the greatest performances I've ever watched. And I do not make statements like that very lightly at all. I mean, I was so blown away. And then I felt validated by that opinion when I'm just like watching this and I see that he goes, what was he, 20, 10, and 9.5. Although they kept kind of changing the stats a little bit. They kept like removing a rebound and giving him a rebound. So I'm just going based on what they had originally said at the 20, 10, and 9 at halftime. And I was like, oh, well, that box score is absolutely insane. Like, you know, like I was like, of course this has been amazing. And then, of course, he actually goes 32, 12, and 15, 0 turnovers, which is obviously, you know, historic. And I was just like, it's so cool when the box score matches what your eyes tell you. And it was just like, this is unbelievable. And the pace, I mean, I think Haliburton made one mistake the entire game. One mistake, and I don't even blame him, honestly. He took one bad shot that I was like, I don't think you should have taken that shot. It was a very, very deep three. And it was just like, you don't need to do that right now. But it was like, I think it was the defender ended up being so far away from him. And it was like, you're taking such a deep three. You're wide open. But like, you could have went right up to the line. And it was just kind of like, I guess I'm so open, I'll take the shot. That was like the only thing that I was like, oh, no, you didn't need to do that. But outside of that, I mean, he was absolutely flawless. I mean, it was extraordinary. And like I said, it's cool to be able to watch the game. You feel like you're watching something special. And then after the game, you get kind of fed some of these notes here. And you're just like, oh, wow, this is, you know, we just witnessed history here. And it's like that's what I felt. And what was so cool about this game is I don't even think everything he did really even showed up in the box score. I mean, I talk about this a lot, how these teams need the Drew Holidays, the Draymond Greens. Like, you need these types of players to really do the dirty work, to do all of these little things, to make the right play all of these hustle plays. Not all assists are equal. You got to really see, like, are you getting the guys the ball in great spots? Like, not all rebounds are equal. Like, it's a lot of this just dirty work, quite frankly, that more often than not doesn't show up in the box score. Like what a Drew Holiday can bring to the table, what a Draymond Green can bring to the table, like it doesn't always show up in the in the box score. And and the guys like the Steph Currys, like the LeBrons, like the big time scorers, the big time superstars, they obviously get all the attention, and understandably so. But what was so amazing about this game and what Haliburton did was that he combined everything. I mean, he just morphed into the Steph Curry, LeBron James, and the Draymond Green, Drew Holiday. I mean, he did all of the big, massive stuff and every little thing. I mean, it's not even showing his steals and forced turnovers like that he was, that he was doing defensively. I mean, it was just outrageous. I mean, he had 4 steals as well. He was 11 for 23, 5 for 12 from 3, 5 for 6 from free throws, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, 4 steals, 0 turnovers. And this is why this stat, and why, we can know plus minus can be such a flawed stat, because the fact that his plus minus, I mean, I know it can't be like this, but like in a game like this, it should feel like his plus minus should be like 5,764. I mean, it should just be like the most outrageous. I mean, like, because he just did everything. Literally everything. I mean, it was just such pure perfection. And what's so cool about the Pacers, because Colin was kind of comparing them to the New York Knicks, and the reality is that the Pacers are not so Haliburton centric, and OKC is kind of similar in this regard to a degree. But you could see that everyone on the Pacers really feels empowered to play their game. There's not a lot of standing and watching. There's times that Tyrese Haliburton's kind of like calling for the ball, and they don't even just automatically give it to him. And I'm always on the fence a little bit. Sometimes it's just like, dude, your guy's calling for the ball, just give it to him. Give it to him. And some of that will come with maturity. But the other way to look at it is that like, there is no singular, like, okay, we just run our team 1,000% through one guy. When the Knicks were kind of making a little bit of a comeback, you could see that they got very, very, very Jalen Brunson centric. And it was just ISO, 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 ISO. And that is not who the Pacers are, which makes them so much more threatening, so much more dynamic. And it allows them to play as fast as they can, because if you were only playing that fast with one player in mind, Haliburton, it's not going to work. It works because you have 5 guys on the court at any given moment that can just run the length and absolutely, I mean, they can shoot a 3, they could dunk, I mean, they could just do anything you need, make an awesome pass, like, a mid-range, like, it's really just high level, awesome basketball. And I think also what we see here is, and I'll talk about this when I do the First Things First video, is unfortunately basketball is such at a bad place right now, the NBA, where not enough people watching it. The beginning, a big chunk of the season is in the heart of the NFL season, as well as then like when the playoffs kind of get going and they kind of start to gain playoff momentum, people have kind of soured on the earlier rounds, and you combine that with the NFL draft, that I watch a lot of people talk basketball, and it gives me the feeling of like, 1, you don't really know basketball very well, and 2, I don't think you've been watching these players or these games very well. It feels like you're kind of just making stuff up here. I'm not saying Colin's doing that. I'm just saying in general, like the takes that kind of that go around, and it's just interesting to see, like it's just interesting to see, to have one moment not really give the Pacers much of a chance, and now that they're winning, it's just like, well, they're amazing, they're historic, they're this, they're that, and it's like, well, why didn't you feel this way going into the playoffs? Why didn't you feel this way after round 1, 2, whatever it may be? And listen, I'm not going to pretend like I'm one of the people that was like saying, oh, the Indiana Pacers are going to win it all, or they're going to get to the, Eastern Conference Finals and win it. And I wasn't saying that back in January or something. So I'm not going to pretend like, I was 100% on the right side of this, but I certainly wasn't doubting the Indiana Pacers or Tyrese Haliburton by no stretch of the imagination. The New York Knicks is their best selling point for what has made them special, their brand is special, has been their physicality, has been their hustle, has been their just level of intensity. Their hard work. It felt like nobody could out hard work, in a weird way to put it, the New York Knicks. And yet here we are, the Indiana Pacers are doing it in every aspect of the game. And that's why, as much as this game was about Tyrese Haliburton and him obviously being historic, it's really everyone on the Pacers. It's everyone. There's just not a moment of them taking a play off. And I had been saying that about the New York Knicks throughout the playoffs. And now it's just like the New York Knicks don't have that, especially when compared to the Pacers. You're like, dude, this is like night and day. And they can keep pace. And that's what made, last night's game so exciting. Is that the Knicks were keeping pace with the Pacers for the most part. And it just made it wildly exciting. And I was having the feeling of like, I feel like the Pacers are the better team, but I don't know if they're going to be able to win. Because all it does is take a couple back-to-back possessions of, a ball rimming out and a couple hot possessions from the Knicks, and you lose the game. Like, that's what it really felt like. It was kind of like football, where it was like, who's going to win this game is who's ever going to have the ball last. And it almost felt like it was, it was out of the hands of like the players at that point. But what ended up showing up was just that the Knicks just could not keep up when push comes to shove at the end of the game. As the game started winding down, there was definitely, I forget if it was the third quarter, the fourth quarter, when things started to get like randomly pretty sloppy. And it's so crazy because, dude, I'm like, free throws just wreck me. I'm just so sick and tired of watching free throw after free throw after free throw. And I'm saying that this is one of the most exciting games I've ever watched, and they shot like 900 free throws this game. Like, that's how you know this game was so wildly exciting that there could be, what was the total number of free throws? I'm not going to do the quick math, but I mean, the Knicks shot 39 free throws, and the Pacers shot 32. I mean, that's insane, and yet it didn't feel like it. This game was wild. I want to like go back and watch this. There's two games that I really want to go back and watch all again. It was the Olympics against Jokic, because that game was wild, and this game. I mean, it was stunning. It was exactly what basketball in the NBA needed, a game like this. And it's a bummer the where the NBA is right now, because I just feel like a game and a performance and a moment like this will not really get the hype and the energy that it deserves. I just really do not think so. And I think part of it is because it's Indiana. And I bet you if Jalen Brunson did it with New York, or if it was Steph and the Warriors, LeBron, the Lakers, Luka, it would be different. But it's just like, it just doesn't hit as loud. And it's a bummer, because again, we just watched true greatness and something that was so awesome, especially in a game that was so awesome. And every single one of those points, assists, and rebounds was truly earned. Like, there was nothing cheap about it. Nothing cheap about it. And yeah, it was just remarkable. It really was. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Tyrese Haliburton and the Indiana Pacers? Will his historic play propel Pacers to a title? And how do you feel about him now being talked about in the conversations of Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.